Hello. There we go. Alexa, volume 0. There was a power cut earlier, and I think it's knocked my settings out of whack. So, just gonna keep sticking with that. Hello, welcome to SquishiVision. I just finished watching the last 3 episodes of Mephisto. Well, spoilers, I guess. Mephisto's in this. The last 3 episodes of Ironheart. I watched the 2 of them yesterday, and then one episode today. I'll just start with my least favorite thing about the show. It's nothing to do with the show. The release schedule. It doesn't feel like I've watched a 6-episode show. It feels like I've watched a 2-part show. A 2-part feature-length episode show. Essentially, I mean, I've watched 6 hours of TV, which really is a miniseries by all metrics. But it doesn't feel like it's had that breathing space. I don't know. In some ways it works, in some ways it doesn't. I guess because I've started thinking that. The way I think it doesn't work is the Mephisto reveal. Look, okay. For one, it got spoiled for me. Because, and this is on me, because I always say it's my responsibility as a viewer to make sure things don't get spoiled for us. But I forgot that Ironheart came out yesterday, and I did my normal doom scrolling on Twitter. Like, the 4th thing down was the Mephisto reveal, and I don't think it took too much away from me from the episode, because I think as soon as they started talking about magic and Dormammu, instantly I'm like, no, that's a red herring. It's not gonna be Dormammu. They're talking about this like extra dimensional, super powerful being who works by making deals and persuades you. That's more Mephisto's deal. That's not to say it would be Mephisto, but I feel like as soon as Sacha Baron Cohen appeared, I'd be like, there's no way this isn't Mephisto. And that happens fairly early on in the episode. So, I guess what I'm saying is, because of it wasn't a huge. It got spoiled for me. It wasn't a huge marketing way. But I have to think, if it was released on the basis of, if it was on a weekly basis, I think it would be less likely to be spoiled for me as much. It would be more likely I would have watched the episode sooner, because it's like, it's not a 2-hour gap. Here's the thing as well, there's probably loads of people who it's been spoiled for, because I watched them all, try to watch them all the night they come out, to avoid this exact thing. The casual viewer doesn't do that. The casual just watch it whenever they're free. So, you don't also, very people are unlikely on Wednesday afternoon, hump day, to watch 3 hours of television. And the Mephisto reveal basically comes at the last 15 minutes of the 3rd hour. So a large proportion of people, if they follow the right Twitter channels and or social media stuff, are gonna have it spoiled for them because they're not gonna go that far. Also, the magic stuff starts to get mentioned basically this half of the show. So I feel like if they'd spread it out across the 6 weeks, and this week everyone would be like speculating on who the magical sponsor is, and we would have had the same fun with the Mephisto speculation that we've had with all the other shows, except this time it's like, crap, we were actually right this time, and not in a way which kind of like self-serves, because we're so used to being like, nah, it's not going to be Mephisto, that when we're starting speculating it's Mephisto, we're not taking it seriously, and actually it's not going to be Mephisto. That was like a perfect opportunity to do it, and that's a perfect kind of like resolution to the whole years and years of like people speculating Mephisto was going to appear in everything. So it's kind of a shame. I think my least favorite thing is the schedule. I kind of think it could have done better if it came out week after week. that being said, I guess because I've spoken a lot about Mephisto, we'll talk about Mephisto first and then the rest of the show, because Mephisto is kind of a separate thing to the show. It's very much the reveal, but not one that really kind of contextualizes the show. It's more of a hook. But I will start off by saying that from a person point of view, Sacha Baron Cohen is a Zionist, and so he's on the wrong side of history, unfortunately. He, he's taking the wrong side, and I have to criticize and call it out. But I'm gonna, separately out from the artist here. Does a phenomenal job as Mephisto in the episode. Plays the role in a way which I think does justice to the history and the scale and the presence of the character from what I know of the comics, whereas doing something very different to the previous portrayals. I'm very familiar with on-screen portrayals of Mephisto via the Ghost Rider films, which obviously fits the Ghost Rider film vibe to a T. And this is different. He very much plays a different character. Not a complete different one. It's still the whole. It's an archetype. The character is an archetype. Mephisto is literally is the Faustian kind of deal maker person, and that's a whole genre villain in itself. The genie, the bottom thing. So you're not having to invent a wheel here, but you can take certainly a trope, an archetype that you can archive. That's what I'm looking for. Certainly an archetype that you can put your twist on. I think this plays very much to Sacha Baron's kind of strengths. There's that kind of sinister joviality and casualness to the role. He plays, he's dressed as a highbrow figure, but he speaks with a Cockney accent. He's very much like Badger in Firefly, but with a sense of more dichotomy about him. And so, they go for someone who's got slightly longer, not unkempt, but not well facial hair. Obviously, Sacha Baron Cohen's not white. I don't actually know what his ethnicity is, but certainly I think a black on touch was cool. So it's not kind of the portrayal of what the film like stuffy old white man aristocrat parents. I need to stop mumbling. I do that a lot. I need to stop speaking from my throat more from my mouth. I need to project. I need to do that properly. Oh, I guess get a better microphone. What was I saying? Sorry, I'm going to distracted. I kind of want to move this mic somewhere else, because I realize I have to sit more over here. It's obviously not helping for this, but that's not a problem for now. I got distracted. So obviously, Sacha Baron Cohen brings a lot of what makes character work. That very kind of slimy friendliness in the role, but I think also a lot of how they filmed the character also is the reason why it works as well as it does. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again because I just realized actually I favour being on this half of the screen. That's where my microphone is. I need to stop being distracted. I can do it. Stop streaming. They can't the angle of the camera a lot. They have a lot of very shallow focus. Basically, different all the tricks. You've got canted frames. You've got shallow focus, make you feel. The canted frames make you feel off balance. The shallow depth of field to make you feel constrained. The close, tight camera angles to make you feel constrained. The low angles to make you feel over kind of shadowed. And then the sound editing. Sound editing was like so simple. Again, like all this is so simple but works so well. You've got the fact that they would occasionally reverb the voice. They would have a deeper kind of like thing put on it. Sometimes he would speak but his mouth wouldn't move. Things that just made you feel really like uncomfortable with the whole like appearance was like, I think, creative, but it worked. A lot of his show is very like visually the show I liked what people like watching this show, because in a lot of ways obviously it's a Marvel show. You've got this kind of CGI thing in the background, and by the way, I really prefer the suit we saw in the first half of the show than this version of the suit, which looks more reboot Power Rangers, which I never liked. I wasn't a massive fan of the suit, and a lot of people criticized the suit in Wakanda Forever as well. And much for what the other suit looked like. It happens a lot actually in these shows. They tend to finally reveal like the final outfit, and it's much worse than the ones we saw earlier. But I don't know if this was shot digitally or on film, but they was like certainly film grain, so it made it feel more grounded and gritty. A lot of the sets almost certainly were practical. Like very little of it felt digital set wise. Again, maybe this is just the benefit of having it shot on film. So I really loved all that. In terms of the show itself, for me, I think WandaVision, Agatha, or not actually, scratch WandaVision, because the ending sucked. Most of WandaVision. Agatha All Along, Hawkeye. What was the other show that I really liked? The list of the Marvel television shows. Oh yeah, Loki, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, and Ironheart are. I've not seen Daredevil Born Again. Or this is in the top 4 of post Marvel Studios. This is the top 4 of the Disney Plus shows. This is the top 4. I think they're possibly on the same level. I think it's better than She-Hulk. I don't know. Loki's perhaps the best out of them. I think it's joint Agatha All Along, because it's consistently like the tone is consistent, the themes are consistent. We don't have this. We don't shift gear right at the end. Like the momentum builds up the entire time through. I mean, the finale isn't, apart from Mephisto, the rest of the finale isn't hugely impressive. It's basically just a bunch of action fights. But if unlike the other kind of Marvel shows, like Agatha All Along, I don't expect to end in a fight sequence. Loki, I don't expect it to really end in a fight sequence. Hawkeye, I do and did. And She-Hulk, kind of, well, she was isn't some kind of flavor or thing. But like forgetting all like the Marvel stuff, just like the themes being explored, the themes of grief and how you deal with loss in different ways. The way that Riri deals with loss, but also the way that the people around Riri deal with loss, but also the way that Steve Parker deals with loss. Both the loss of his family and how that pushes him to revenge and anger and grief, but also when he loses John, but also, like Joe losing their original stuff, being born as someone new. Like, those themes are present throughout, and then the ultimate kind of subversion, I guess, is that ultimately we can't let go of her loss and the grief and makes a deal with Pisto. And like I said last week, I think so many people are gonna like completely like not appreciate this show's approach to its storytelling, because it's a show predominantly kind of fronted and has creatives behind it are from a marginalized group, which is frankly a massive shame because it is like so good. So I'm excited to see where these characters go next, and I'm excited to see kind of how Mephisto plays, because it's really weird. So obviously Kang isn't part of us anymore. We've got 3 big hitters in all being reintroduced. These are all like Mephisto is a Thanos, I think, a Thanos level threat. Like, they're not a comic book of the week villain. They turn up for the big things. Galactus turns up for the big things. Doctor Doom. That's actually probably going to be a comic book of the week villain. But not within like the Marvel kind of context. It's actually strange. We're picking up Doctor Doom a lot in the MCU, which is really weird because they're not actually like. I think if they weren't approaching it with this Robert Downey Jr. backing, they would probably be just a normal one-off film. Also, I think also it was because they had to adapt around. But yeah, we've got 3 big heroes. We've got Doctor Doom, we've got Galactus, we've got Mephisto, all appearing in a short period of time, and it's like, well, I don't expect Mephisto to be like an Avengers level threat, because he always interacts with people on a one-to-one basis. And Galactus actually does make more sense to be a Fantastic Four villain. Doctor Doom as an Avengers villain is going to be interesting though. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to end there because I'm getting distracted by like how I want to completely change my camera rig. I don't know why now of all times I said to do that. So we'll end it there. And I should probably just go to bed because I've been like work. So thanks for tuning in, and yeah, get out of the house.